All right, guys. Well, another day, another racist person that is either a Trump supporter or employed by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. There are so many of these incidents at this point, I should just change the name of this channel to "This is me talking about all the racists that work for Donald Trump." And for most of you guys already know a little bit about this story. Elon Musk has been giving access to random 19 and 25-year-olds that work for his company that agree with his extreme ideologies. And of course, it came out recently that a certain one of them had some online tweets or posts that were very, very racist. And when I say very, very racist, I mean very, very racist. And of course, Trump supporters do all the proper mental gymnastics to excuse away the things that this young man had said, saying things like, he's just a kid. Of course, he's still a kid. And of course, many of these tweets or posts or whatever you want to call them came out just recently. And when I say just recently, I mean just like last month. This young man was caught saying things like, we should repeal the Civil Rights Act. He backed a eugenic immigration policy in the weeks before President Trump was inaugurated. Last September, he stated that you could not pay me to marry outside of my ethnicity. He said that we should normalize Indian hate in reference to a post about the prevalence of people from India and the Silicon Valley. In a December 2024 post, Ellis promised that Indian workers in the U.S. on H-1B visas are going back. Don't worry, guys. Well, at least we all know what happened to Vivek now. He also said, in July, just for the record, I was racist before it was cool. And in reference to Israel's war against Hamas, Ellis wrote, I would not mind at all if Gaza and Israel were both wiped off the face of the earth. But don't worry, guys. He's well past that 6 months ago when he was posting these things, or 2 months ago when he was posting these things. It was just a phase. He's all grown up now, and he has your social security numbers and is writing code in the Treasury Department's computer systems. And I want you to understand something. These are the things that they got a hold of that he wasn't able to delete, because the Daily Beast reported that Ellis had wiped much of his online presence, including his LinkedIn page, much like others in DOGE who were identified Sunday. I'm sure those other profiles were just filled with family pictures and vacations with his buddies. You know, the more I think about the fact that they sent Vivek back to Ohio, the more I think that they might have been actually doing him a favor, because something tells me these young men were not going to listen to him. In fact, they might have keyed a swastika into his car. And of course, it was reported that he had resigned because of this. But Elon Musk just couldn't lose one of his stormtroopers. And he did what Elon does. He went to Twitter and he asked them, should he hire him back? And of course, if you poll a bunch of right-wing, Trump-supporting, racist as fuck Twitter users, you're probably going to get these types of results, with 79% of the 315,000 people who were polled saying that he should bring him back. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm pretty surprised that 21% said no. I'm going to guess those were the minorities that thought that when they voted for Donald Trump that he wasn't going to do all the things he said he was going to do. And of course, this wasn't the only person that they've outed so far out of these 4 or 5 different young men that Elon Musk has working for him in our treasury. No, also there is this Edward Korstein kid who apparently was released by a firm known as Path Network where he was interning. I can confirm that Edward Korstein's brief contract was terminated after the conclusion of an internal investigation into the leaking of proprietary company information that coincided with his tenure. Yet that's the guy who is allegedly working in the treasury and has all of your information. These people are the biggest hypocrites that have ever lived. These are people that were so mad about the Twitter files. These are people that were so mad about social media stealing their private information. And then you say to them, well, it turns out there's these young kids that potentially have a background with leaking information. They have your social security number and they're like, he's getting rid of the bad guys. When will these people ever learn? I don't think they will. Why? Well, that's a rhetorical question. Look, you can say that young people say, do, and post dumb shit online. You can even say that these people were racist and potentially one day may be better. They may grow. They may evolve. They may have a talk with Daryl Davis and he may convince them to send him their white robes. But they should not be in potentially very, very, very important information that has to do with people's Social Security checks, and other things that affect our government and people's everyday lives. Just the fact that you have 19 to 25-year-olds in these places is concerning enough. And then if you're going to reveal that they're still mid-evolution, would be very concerning. People really need to wake up to the fact that these people are trying to burn this down. They don't care. They think the government has to go away. It has to all be started all over again. We need to go back to when America was great, which was apparently when you could post obscenely racist things online. I thought we were getting better, but it turns out we've only gotten worse. And if you're a Trump supporter and you're sitting there saying to yourself all of these things that people are saying online about how you have to forgive this kid for the things that he posted 2 months ago or 6 months ago, you've lost your damn mind. If you're a Trump supporter and you're like, look, all of us aren't racist, stop saying we're racist, then stand up and say that things like this are not acceptable, because none of these people are actually saying things like, hey, we denounce the things that this person said. We disavow the things that this kid said. We think they're bad, we think they're hurtful, and we think that people shouldn't be spreading these types of ideologies online or in their real life, which they probably are. You could do that, but they don't. No, instead, they say, you're just freaking out over nothing. These are just kids. Then to use your own argument against you, then they shouldn't be involved in the things that they're involved in. And for all the people out there that do recognize that this is bad, that this should not be going on in our government, I just want you to realize something, that there are people out there that are still speaking out against it. I grew up with skinheads, with peckerwoods, with Nazi lowriders, with people that supported supreme white power and white pride. I know racism when I see it. And there are other people like me that will continue to make videos and call people out for these things. So before I go, I just want to share this clip with you. It's something that Eminem had actually gone on and said in an interview, and it really gives us all like hope that there's still people out there that are still sane. People that have still lived life experiences and aren't going to just normalize all of this bullshit.
When I start talking about Trump, I get too flustered in my head, and the shit that I want to say, there's too many things I want to say at once. So sometimes I start talking and I'm not able to convey the message the right way because I just get flustered and frustrated. Watching him play to his base that thinks that he cares about them, and it's actually the people that he cares about the fucking least. If you're talking about his core being, you know, a majority white middle class, what I don't understand is how in the fuck do you feel like you relate to a billionaire who has never known struggle his entire fucking life? I will say this, he talks a good one. And if you're in his base, you're a core, let's say you're going to the rallies or whatever, you watch him on TV, you hear him talking this shit, there's part of me that understands, like, all right, he's somehow still got them because he's brainwashing them into thinking that something great is gonna happen. Nothing's happening. Nothing is happening.
Trump and Elon Musk aren't going to make anything great happen. They're only going to make things that are bad happen. They're going to make this country more racist, more homophobic, and a worse place for the majority of this country to live in. You're not going to stop hearing from Eminem, and you're not going to stop hearing from me either. All right, guys. Well, love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.